Good morning, grade 8. Welcome to this lesson. Today we're just going to focus on the two pages, page 100 and 101, and we're focusing on the market. So I've decided to make another video. This work was already covered in the previous video, but I just wanted to make sure that you understand this, as this is a fundamental part that you'll need to understand. Especially in grade 9, there's a massive drive. There's a big thing that a lot of the work is built on this foundation. So you need to understand this. So you only have to be able to do two things after today's lesson. So if you work with me today, as I go along in this video, your work will be done. So you need to summarize page 100 and then complete activity 2. And then you need to write down steps 1 to 6 in the workbook directly after figure 2.15 in your textbook. Okay, so there's 6 steps. I've redrawn that diagram, and then you can copy that and understand the steps. So I'll explain it step by step, and then you can just follow. Alright, so we're focusing on the market and on the topic of where do we get the price from. So price determination is quite important. So when you start, you need to understand that price isn't formed by a single person. It's not formed by a buyer or by a seller. When you go to checkers, that already means that there's more than one buyer and there's more than one seller. Okay, that means there's competition, and that is the true nature of where you get price. Price is almost as you can, if you want to imagine this as a fight. There's on this side, there's the businesses or the people that want to supply. They offer products. So let's say the farmers, they've got their potatoes, they offer this to the market. They want to get 10 rand a bag of potatoes. But then on the other side, you've got the sellers, and they don't want to pay 10 rand a bag. They want to pay much lower. So there's this interaction, there's this friction, and it's in this process of bidding and putting up prices, reducing prices. It's all about who's got the control of the market, who's in control. This is where the price comes from. Now, if this topic interests you, then the market on forex trading will also definitely interest you. Just saying that as a side point, but in any case, so we said the market consists out of buyers and sellers. So there's millions of buyers and millions of sellers. Now, I'm not saying that in specific in South Africa, but in the market in general, this is the biggest thing. This is how we do e-commerce. There must be buyers, there must be sellers, otherwise there's nothing. Okay, so you've got your buyers and sellers. The sellers will offer a product, and the buyers comes with a need. They've got the old outdated phone, the seller's got a nice brand new iPhone. So due to the fact that there are many similar products, no seller can determine the price on his own. So let's say there's in Jeffreys Bay, there's 5 cell phone shops. Right? If there was one, we call it a monopoly. So that business owner can set the price whichever way you want, because there's no competition. So he would set the price very high, cover all his expenses and his profit, and he will make all of that. But now there's 5 companies bidding to get the same buyers, the same market. They want to make the same money, but they can't. Why? We as consumers will not go buy the most expensive immediately. We'll do our homework, you shop around, you see where is specials. And that's why with Pick and Pay, Checkers and Spar, there's always this interaction. Who's got the specials? Who's open the latest? Who delivers the best service? So there's a massive lot of factors that impact our buying decisions. So due to that fact, price is not set at a high price. Now, you will have to cover your price or your costs involved as a business. But now you get other companies that have lower prices. So immediately, in order to be competitive, you have to lower your price as well, or up until the lowest point that you can go still to make a profit. So here we see, as I said, so from the beginning, it's this interaction, this friction. Okay, so how does he do it? The seller offers an iPhone, the buyer comes to market, he wants a new high-tech phone. He doesn't want to buy it from the first seller that he can get, Although if that seller is his friend or a business owner that he trusts, he's got a relationship with him, by all means, he will probably buy because he wants to support that person. But normally they will stick with their budget, they'll stick with their wants and needs, and if they're an iPhone person, they'll pay that money. If not, they might go for Samsung or any other brand that they prefer. So they'll stick to that. So price is determined by this interaction between the buyers and sellers. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so as we said, price is formed due to the interaction between buyers and sellers. If you can see my hands, you'll be able to see that I'm working it, and it's this massive interaction, this friction. Okay, so demand and supply. So when a buyer wants to buy something, we refer to it as a demand for a product. Okay, so this buyer, he comes with his money. It's like in the previous lesson, Katlego, he wants to buy fish. He's got the demand. His grandmother wants a fish. She wants to cook dinner. So there's a demand, right? When the sellers offer the product to the buyers, we refer to it as supply. Okay, so they will supply a product. So the fisherman will supply the fish. So let's take an example. If ice cream, if you can buy one for 10 Rand, that means there's a high price. Now, do you think everyone will buy if there's a high price? No, it's probably only the rich that will buy. But if ice cream is reduced to 10 Rand, the lower the price, the more people will buy. So this is what it looks like when you take a look at it at the graph. You can see on the left hand side, when price is high at the X, the quantity will be low. But on the that's on the green dotted line. On the black dotted line, you'll see that when the price is low, then the quantity will be high. So this is just based on the demand graph. You'll see the blue line is a demand graph. Now this is from the buyer's perspective. If it's a high price, they don't want to buy a lot, so they'll only buy little. Chances is that they only have a little money. But when the price is low, when you see there's a sale, you'll see everyone buying and chucking things in their basket. It's like Black Friday, everyone's just going crazy. Now supply on the other end, if you take that green dotted line and you continue that straight on, you'll see that that's a high price but at a high quantity. Now that's the business's perspective. He wants to sell a lot at a high price, and he doesn't want to sell a lot at the low price. Okay, so there's this interaction, and price is determined exactly where demand and supply meet. Exactly where it meets. So in that middle, you'll see where the red and blue line crosses. That's where price is formed. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so activity 2, let's do it together. So you need to, in this activity, you need to test the markets against a specific set of criteria, which is there's many buyers and sellers, there's equal access to information, and it must be comparable products. You can't go and compare an iPhone to a potato. Why not? It's in a different market, different target market, and it fulfills different functions. So you can see it's Coke versus Pepsi. What information is there available? Is it price? Is there a reduction in price? And is there a lot of buyers and sellers? Okay, so in the example, let's take Facebook Marketplace. And the product is we want to sell hand sanitizer. So let's evaluate it based on these 3 criteria. Is there many buyers and sellers? Yes, Facebook, there's in just the Kouga region, there's hundreds of buyers and sellers, if not thousands. Okay. Is there equal access to info? Yes, everyone on the Facebook platform has got access to information. They can see the sale, they can type in, do a Google search, and they've got the information at their fingertips. Is it comparable products? They will see who sells hand sanitizer, who sells similar products, even the stands for hand sanitizer that you don't need to touch the bottles. So all of this is available. So according to our 3 criteria, Facebook Marketplace is a market, right? We test the validity of a market, and we find Facebook is right. So you need to do the same for the following three. The market we learners, this is now our free market Friday. The second one is market for petrol and to motorists here in Jeffreys Bay, and the third one is a market for cell phone airtime. I want you to do exactly the same as I did in this example. Alright, grade 8, let's look at the last slide. Now I've made some minor changes to the one in the textbook. The flow was just not right. Okay, so I want to explain this so that you can understand it in a better way. And there was also no numbers indicating a flow. So the first one is you'll see that one appear at the consumers. Consumers are the one that wants to buy the goods and services. These goods and services, they require that to live. This is your bread, milk, whatever. What you can put any good or service in this bracket, right? They want to buy this from the businesses. So the businesses are the ones that will produce the goods and services. But the question is, how do they produce it? They need certain things. They need the factors of production. Where do they get this? At the factor market. This is number 3. They get it at the factor market. What do they get at the factor market? They get the factors of production, which is your natural resources, capital, labor, and entrepreneurship, right? So these four factors of production are then combined, and then a good or a service is then the product of that, which is sold to the consumers. But in order, when a business gets those resources, they have to pay the consumers money. So that's their expenditure on these factors of production. So they pay consumers for the natural resources that the consumers provide businesses, right? In return, the customers now have money and they want to buy the goods and services from the business. You can see the goods comes from the business and it goes to consumer through the goods and services market, which is the orange one, right? And what do they do with that? They pay them money. So in effect, is the red is the monetary circle, and the inside circle is the flow of your resources as well as goods and services. Okay, so this is the flow in the economy. I think this was quite easy to understand. If there's any questions, please ask me, but this is something that you need to know, and this is the summary. So I would rather that you summarize using this example than in the textbook. You can use the wording that they used in the textbook, but make sure you understand that. Alright.